Hello everybody, my name is Ívar and I'm going to tell you about a new trip with us here at Sobek called Hiking Iceland's Magical North. A little bit about myself to begin with. I've been involved in tourism in Iceland since 1998, on and off to begin with, but since 2008 I've been full-time, both in logistics from the office, but as well as guiding. And my guiding began with mountaineering, but nowadays more and more of the stuff I do are trips like this, where I get to showcase the best of Iceland to people that just like to see the sights and do a little bit of hiking. So hiking Iceland's Magical North is a combination of a bit of culture, a bit of sightseeing, and a little bit of activity. Enjoyable hiking, nothing too strenuous or too committed, and just a nice day out, combined with some nice hotels, good food, and some great beer. I'll tell you about that later. And obviously we've got some amazing sights, waterfalls, volcanoes, and the regular stuff that we have here in Iceland. My favorite part about the trip is that most of it happens in the north, where there is quite a little bit less tourism going on. So kind of a road less traveled, and I think you guys will appreciate that too. So if I take you through the trip day by day, on the first day as you arrive in Iceland, we're going to collect everyone and start the trip at a Viking museum, where we're also going to have some breakfast and check out their display. And then we have only about 2 hours or so of driving over to the little town of Borgarnes, where we'll check into a nice little country hotel just outside of town. So the perfect day to begin your trip after the long flight, a little bit of sightseeing and a little bit of relaxing, and not too much activity, not too long a day. On the second day, we have a little bit more planned. We're gonna head to the little town of Siglufjörður, a very charming little town with quite interesting history. But before we get there, we're gonna hike Mælifellshnjúkur, a mountain of about 2,700 feet of elevation gained. Again, nothing major hiking wise, but a good day out. And once we've done the mountain, we're gonna come back to Siglufjörður, where we're gonna check into the really nice Hotel Siglo, one of the newer hotels in Iceland, and a really beautiful building, and a really a part of a really nice project in town. I'll tell you about it when we get there. Here's a picture from inside the hotel. On day 3, we're gonna continue to stay at the same hotel, so we can relax that morning. No packing involved. The town is located in quite a deep fjord, which currently is connected to the rest of Iceland via 2 tunnels on either side. But in the old days, we had to hike across a mountain pass to get in and out of town. And our hiking for the day is going to be crossing one of these mountain passes, kind of the traditional route out of town, including some really nice views over to the North Atlantic and the mountains surrounding the town. So that could be a nice day out. Day 4 is a little bit more of a sightseeing day. We're going to spend a bit more time in the bus, driving between the different locations, but also squeezing in some nice little hikes to get a bit of exercise. And it's going to take us to Ásbyrgi, a rock formation that is quite interesting and has connections to the heathen beliefs, as long as a couple of waterfalls, Goðafoss and Dettifoss. And here we have a picture of Goðafoss, one of the more beautiful waterfalls in Iceland. And another one from Goðafoss. And here is a picture from Dettifoss. This is the most powerful waterfall in all of Europe. and it's quite intimidating to stand there on the edge of the cliff and watch that. So that's a really nice experience, and also gets us a little bit up into the highland where the landscape is a bit more barren. So that it's also an interesting drive into there. At the end of the day, we're headed to Lake Miva, where we're going to spend the night in another relatively new hotel. And then on day 5, we're going to explore the surroundings of Lake Miva. It's kind of a volcanic theme park. The lava field in the area has flowed over some wetlands and into the lake, creating some really interesting lava formations. The lake itself has its own little ecosystem, and for bird watchers, there's a lot to see. Among other things, there are 40 different species of ducks alone on the lake. After a little bit of hiking around there, we're gonna go to the geothermal pool in the area and bathe in the hot geothermally heated water, which is a nice treat. And then we're headed to Akureyri. Akureyri is kind of the capital of the north, a little town of about 16,000 people. And we're going to spend the next 2 nights there. Here's another shot from Lake Miva. On day 6 in Akureyri, the plan is to do a bit of peak bagging. There's a very nice mountain above the town, Sulur. It's a hike of about 3,800 feet. And once we get down from that, we're going to drop by a soft ice shop in town. They have some special soft ice for Akureyri. But mentioning soft ice on day 6 is maybe a little bit too late. I think you'll already have fallen in love with Icelandic soft ice. That seems to be something extraordinary. In the evening, we're going to dine out in one of the local restaurants, Rub 23, which is one of the finer, more well-known restaurants in Iceland. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. On day 7, we have a little bit of relaxing in Akureyri in the morning, a chance to buy souvenirs, for example. And then we're going to drop by a local brewery, actually the first microbrewery in Iceland, which has an interesting and fun history about it. And we're also going to sample their products before we head back to the domestic airport in Akureyri and do a 45-minute flight to Reykjavik, where we're going to have a final dinner, some fine dining in Reykjavik before leaving next morning. So here are the dates that we have for 2018. 1 trip in June, 1 in July, and 1 in August, as well as the pricing. And Samantha Brumberg is your connection at Knowles. So you've got her phone number there and email address. Otherwise, we had a few questions regarding this hike, and I'll just cover those now. So how strenuous are the hikes? Nothing really difficult. Some of it is off the trail, but nothing technical. Just an easy, rewarding day out. So a bit of elevation gain, a bit of elevation drop, but we have plenty of time and we can adjust the speed to the group. So if we're fast, we'll add something else to it. If we're slow, we'll just take the time we need. So any person of reasonable fitness and good health should be fine on this trip. Discuss the transport vehicle used. We generally have a bus, plenty of space for everyone, so don't worry about being crammed into a small bus. That's certainly not going to happen. Plenty of space for people on luggage. How's the weather during the tours? A very fair question in Iceland. The weather does change quite a lot for us here. Expect it to be good, but be prepared for something else. The average temperature in July is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It can get quite a lot colder and can get a little bit warmer. So t-shirt and and shorts. You should definitely bring that. But you should also bring full Gore-Tex clothing and a nice little light puffy jacket to wear on colder days. Dietary accommodations, vegetarians, and so forth. No problem. We can deal with all that. Vegetarians, vegans, just let us know in advance, and we'll take care of that. Northern Lights, a question we get quite a lot. Unfortunately, the summer night in Iceland is bright, which means we won't be seeing any Northern Lights, although the solar activity creating the Northern Lights is still happening. With a bright sky, it's just not possible to see them. So you'll just have to come back in the winter for that one. What's my favorite aspect of the trip? Well, I like to drink beer, so it will have to be the microbrewery, I guess. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to this trip. I think it's going to be a really nice outing, and I look forward to see you guys in Iceland. So until then, bless.